Hello and welcome to London, welcome to British Boxing's spiritual home. You can see it behind me, it's your call. We're back there tomorrow night, the British Middleweight Championship on the line. Denzel Bentley, too sharp, the two-time British Middleweight Champion, defends his title against Manchester's Marcus Morrison. But first, it's weigh-in day. Championship on the line, Denzel, too sharp, two-time Bentley, defends against Marcus Morrison. What's your read on this fight heading into it?
I like this fight.
Yeah.
I think it's a good match. It's a voluntary, but I think Morrison is very deserving of it. I commentated on quite a few of his early fights, and I did the one against Jason Wellborn where he got derailed and took a bit of a hiding that night, but they left him in there for the 10 rounds. A couple of defeats after that, and you wondered where he was going, but he rebounded with a big win in Italy. We saw him against Zach Parker, of course, on BT.
Too big, wasn't he?
Yeah, too big. He showed plenty of bottle that night, but he was just too big, Parker. So he is a very, very live underdog, Morrison. Bentley will be a favourite for a reason. I thought it was a great fight against Linus Adofia, good performance. But this is a very competitive fight, and it's a good match. And that's exactly why they wanted to do it, because with Bentley, he's a kind of character, isn't he, who he doesn't want to stagnate or stall. He wants to keep moving forward. Yeah. And Morrison's a good fighter. Yeah,
I was actually quite surprised to hear this is the first time Morrison's challenged for a British title. And like that was like, Marcus Morrison's been around for a while, right? You'd have thought by this point he'd have challenged for one, but this is the first time, Andy.
Yeah, it just hasn't quite. You know, he was moving nicely until he ran into Wellborn. You know, he was with Matchroom. He was boxing on a big platform in the Gallagher gym, and the red carpet was kind of being rolled out for him a bit. And I understand why they chose Jason Wellborn, but it all went badly wrong that night. And then after that run he had, he was on the outside looking in. And then around the time that he boxed Eubank Jr., you'd have thought that would have been about the spell where, maybe a British title fight could have come his way then. But he took that fight, and that was understandable. Went the 10 rounds. He's never actually even been to York Hall, has he? Yeah, no,
he's not been as a fan. He's not boxed there ever. It was a lot of firsts for Marcus Morrison this weekend. But on Denzel Bentley, right? So he's won that title back. He's become two-time British Middleweight Champion. I believe you commentated on that fight as well. Maybe you did the interviews after the fight.
I did, yeah.
Does it all? That meant a lot to him, getting that belt back, didn't it?
Yeah, it did, because he was so disappointed with what happened against Felix Cash. Cash is a very good fighter who I've covered a lot, but I know he just felt like he never got going on the night, Bentley. Never showed people what he could do. And the first defeat's always hard to take, but he seemed to take it well. He's a realistic guy. Everybody knows when you turn pro that first L is in the post. Mm-hmm. You don't want it to happen for as long as possible, but at some point it's going to happen, and it's about how you react to it. And he reacted to it really well, because that was a great fight against Adofia. Yeah. I think it was the right decision that he won it narrowly, but it was a tremendous fight, and he's into another good fight now. And you know, if he wins this one, then my understanding is if he then beats his mandatory challenger, whoever that would turn out to be next, that'll be 4 British title wins, including a mandatory, and that's what you need to do to win it outright. Yeah. But you know, he's always looking to move onwards and upwards.
Yeah, and look, he's 27 years old now. He will be in the rankings of the WBO. Nice defence here. I'm sure that will keep building momentum. And there's a lot of what's going to happen with that WBO belt. Has Janibek got hold of it now? Has he been upgraded? I think he may have been upgraded now from interim to full champion with the Andre thing going on. And look, I don't think there's a huge queue of people who are going to want to fight that Janibek fella. Denzel Bentley might find himself being offered the fight before long. You never know.
Yeah, that could happen. He's at 14 with the WBO, and Frank Warren is extremely good at manoeuvring fighters into the number 1 spot. Alan Canley, I watched quite a bit in the amateurs. He was the world amateur champion back in 2013.
Good fighter, isn't
Southpaw, good fighter. You saw what he did to Danny Dignam, who is a good fighter. But if you get the opportunity to step up, then you have to back yourself. I don't know if this is something they'd be looking at happening particularly soon, because there would be some manoeuvring that would need to happen to get him into that number 1 position. But there's a fight for him with the WBO that I like. There's a fighter called Vincent Feigenbutz who's at number 10.
Yes.
I like that fight.
Yeah.
I covered Feigenbutz quite a bit back in the day. So if it doesn't pan out quite straight away, that defence that they need, because they want it to happen quickly, won't they? They won't want to be hanging around for that. It's a case of if it fits, then they'll do it. But if it doesn't and it becomes difficult, I think they'll look to move on. There's a bit of chaos around the European title because a fighter won it, but then I think there's going to be a rematch because it was the technical decision. And Felix Cash, I think, is their next in line. So I don't think that's really a feasible option for the near future.
Well, you just don't know. That's the thing with this game. As we're learning every day, you can't predict boxing. And look, we can't really predict what's going to happen on Friday night at York Hall, but we know it's going to be a cracking show. Andy, give us your final words before I let you go and go and MC the weigh-in.
You're a busy man, you are.
I'm
You're
trying.
a busy man. I'm just really looking forward to it. I've not been back at a packed York Hall since pre-pandemic. This will be the first time. We're seeing quite a lot of shows at the minute, and I'm not digging anybody out here, but we're seeing quite a lot of shows in kind of half-empty, bigger arenas. A packed-out York Hall is a great look. It looks great on TV. It's going to sound amazing. I cannot wait for it.
Neither can I. Just going to go and MC the weigh-in now. We'll see you very shortly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the official weigh-in ahead of Fight Night Live on BT Sport. We are live tomorrow night for a night of championship boxing headlined by Denzel "Too Sharp" Bentley, the two-time British Middleweight Champion, defending his crown against Manchester's Marcus Morrison. It's an absolute cracker. It's live from 7 o'clock from British boxing's spiritual home of York Hall. And we're now going to start the weigh-in. Let's start with that main event. Let's first welcome to the scales. Joining us from Manchester, he is the challenger tomorrow evening. He has a record of 25 wins, only 5 defeats, with 16 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Marcus Sweet M&M Morrison. $159.7 for the challenger, Marcus Morrison. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's please welcome to the scales, joining us from Battersea, England. He has a record of 16 wins, just 1 defeat with 1 draw, 13 big wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the two-time British middleweight champion, please welcome Denzel "Too Sharp" Bentley. 158.9 for Denzel "Too Sharp" Bentley. We have a fight, ladies and gentlemen, the British Middleweight Championship on the line. And let's get a face-off. 12 rounds for the British Middleweight Championship, our main event tomorrow night at York Hall, live on BT Sport. Thank you, gentlemen. Our next contest to weigh in will be 8 minutes, 8 3-minute rounds in the Cruiserweight division. Introducing first to the scales from Scunthorpe. He has a record of 18 wins, just 5 defeats, with 9 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the former English light heavyweight champion, please welcome Deck Kid Nitro Spellman. 201.5 for Deck Spellman. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the scales, joining us from Bromley. He is unbeaten with a record of 14 wins and no defeats. 6 wins coming by way of knockout. He's on the scales already. Ladies and gentlemen, Ellis Zorro! 199.3 for Ellis Zorro. get a face-off now ahead of this Cruiserweight contest tomorrow night, live on BT Sport from York Hall. Let's bring in Kid Nitro. Eight rounds in the Cruiserweight division. Our next contest is 8 rounds in the Super Featherweight division. Introducing first to the scales, joining us from Girona, Spain. He has 42 contests to his credit. Please welcome Brian Morena. Brian? He's coming. He's coming. Come on, Brian. $130.2 for Brian Morena. And now let's welcome to the scales his opponent. He is unbeaten with a record of 9 wins, no defeats, 1 draw. 3 wins coming by way of knockout. Please welcome from Hackney, Frank the Tank Arnold. 133.2 for Frank the Tank Arnold. Let's get a face-off now between the Tank and Brian Morena. Super Featherweight contest tomorrow night live on BT Sport from York Hall. We're just getting some joggers on. Reluctant to weigh in just his pants. Come on, Frank. Let's get this face off. Eight rounds in the Super Featherweight division. All right, our next contest is 6 rounds in the Super Bantamweight division. Introducing first to the scales, he has 20 contests to his name. Please welcome from Birmingham, Reese Taylor. Reese Taylor. 117 pounds for Reese Taylor. Okay, now let's welcome to the scales. Joining us from Buckhurst Hill, he is unbeaten. He's a former 7-time national amateur champion. Please welcome Adan the Pirate Mohammed. 120.8 for Adan the Pirate Muhammad. Let's get a face-off, gents. Adan Mohammed and Reece Taylor in action tomorrow night at York Hall. Our next contest is 6 rounds in the welterweight division. Let's first welcome to the scales a man with 20 contests to his name. Joining us from Croatia, Dario Barosa. 149.5 for Dario Barosa. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the scales. He is unbeaten with a record of 3 wins, no defeats. 2 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, from Brick Lane, Khalid, the Bengal Tiger, Ali. 150.7 for Khalid, the Bengal Tiger, Ali. Got a face-off now between Khalid Ali and Dario Barosa. The Crocs are on. Six rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing next to the scales, it's a 4-round cruiserweight contest. Introducing first a man with 22 contests to his name, joining us from Poland, Paweł Strykowski. 198.5 for Paweł Strykowski. And now, let's welcome to the scales. He is unbeaten. 1 fight, 1 win, 1 knockout from London. Arnold Big Ticket Oberdai. 203 pounds for Arnold Oberdai. Reminder, we are live from 7 o'clock tomorrow night on BT Sport from York Hall. This is a cruiserweight contest. Let's see a face-off now. Four rounds in the cruiserweight division. Arnold Oberdai and Paweł Strykowski. And now let's welcome to the scales. This is a 4-round middleweight contest. This is his 4th professional contest, joining us from Leeds, Joe Hardy. 159.8 for Joe Hardy. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a young man making his professional debut tomorrow night. Please welcome from Dagenham, Joel JFK Kadua. 157.3 for Joel Kadua. Let's get a face-off. Joel Kadua, Joe Hardy. That's the only one.
Face the front when you're ready, James. You need to be at your call for 10 to 6 tomorrow. Face front. Face the front, boys. Yeah. Face the front, boys. 4:30, yeah, you are. 4:30, you'll call tomorrow. 4:30, you've got to be at your call.
Joel Kadua and Joe Hardy in action tomorrow night at York Hall, the pro debut of Joel Kadua. Now let's welcome to the scales. This is a super featherweight contest. Introducing first, he has 42 fights to his credit. He joins from Bucharest, Romania. Please welcome Stefan Nicolae. One to 8.4 for Stefan Nicolae. And now let's welcome to the scales. He is unbeaten. 5 fights, 5 wins and 4 knockouts. He's a former 5-time London amateur champion. Please welcome Masood Supermass Abdullah. 129.9 for Masood Abdullah. Get a face-off now between Masood Abdullah and his opponent Stefan Nicolae in action tomorrow night at York Hall. We're live on BT Sport from 7 p.m. Masood Abdullah, Stefan Nicolae tomorrow night at York Hall. Our final boxer to weigh in today. His opponent will weigh in tomorrow. Let's welcome to the scales an unbeaten former 2-time European gold medalist. His name is Royston Barney Smith, a.k.a. Sugar Boy Roy. 140.2 for Sugar Boy Royston Barney Smith. Let's get some photos, Royston.